Welcome back to On the Light. I'm your host, Susan Johnson. In today's episode, I'm grateful, as always, to sit down with Prashant Iyengar for another conversation that takes us deeper into the subject of Sangeet. Prashant begins by explaining that Sangeet arises from the Natya Shastra, the ancient Indian treatise on dramaturgy and the performing arts, a text that explores music, dance, theater, rasa, and the inner mechanics of expression itself. From there, he leads us to a profound reflection that life itself is a kind of drama. We are not the roles we play: father, mother, friend, student. These are enactments, costumes, movements within a larger unfolding. And the self, he reminds us, is beyond all of it. Please enjoy this episode of On the Light. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
So we're here to continue our discussion on Sangeet. I do have a couple of questions regarding tone. I believe it was in the second session. You talked about how the pitch when we recite in the early morning, if we chant Om, is lower. And so I'm wondering then, does that change throughout the day?
Yeah, true. The chemistry changes because when you wake up in the morning, you can see that your voice is different than during the daytime. Say midday, evening time. The morning time is kapha time.
Okay.
So body chemistry changing between kapha, vata, pitta. So later it becomes pitta, and then late evening it becomes vata. At night it is vata.
Okay.
So our chemistries are changing, and that also works on mind. So if you get up very early in the morning, you can see that you can't shout. Your voice is on a little lower pitch.
Okay. And then this is more technical then. I have noticed in myself and in reciting with the group, I can start reciting the Yoga Sutras, Atta Yoga Nushasanam. By the time I get to the end of Samadhi Padi, it's like Utu Samadhi Pada. Maybe not that low, but it's like significantly lower. And I'm wondering why that happens and how do we keep it level?
Okay. Yeah, now that happens because you must have a drone instrument at the background. So you will, and you have to have a little ear trained for music. Otherwise, your pitch might go up and down. So therefore, we have a drone instrument always.
I see.
And so I will send you that app, and so you can have the drone instrument, and then your pitch will not vary.
Okay. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, that's why we call it drone instrument. So that will keep our pitch stable and steady. Otherwise, it can go up and down.
Yes, sometimes I have to stop in the middle and go back up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you were speaking last time about Gandharva Veda and that those are the music and dancers of the celestial world. You talked about raga as melody, tala
Yeah,
as
I heard it. Yeah, I heard that in the evening for me to get some background and proceed from there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let us continue.
So today I want to start with a note. Maybe I was sounding a little critical about contemporary classical music. So I want to make a little clarification with regards to that. Well, like yoga today has got contaminated. Just by taking embracing yoga, it doesn't mean that you are on a spiritual path.
Mhm.
So there is a culture, ethos, and some background like satsanga, sadhana sangha, shastra sangha, etc. Similar is the case of music. However, music has a shorter cut than yoga. It is because of the music in it. We don't sing in our yoga. We do our yoga. And the music has it charms our mind. Music can charm our mind, and therefore our mind will be channelized. So music scores over in the spiritual path. Like if you know that story of hare and tortoise, the hare has a better speed, good speed, and tortoise has is a very very slow animal.
Mhm.
So the music will be can gallop on the spiritual path. Yoga will not gallop on the spiritual path.
Mhm.
Like uh, the music creates an atmosphere. For yoga, we have to create an atmosphere. Music by itself gives an atmosphere which is ethereal, which is transmundane, which lifts you from your stasis. But it is very difficult to uh, lift our stasis through yoga. And therefore, that regimen is there, as you have heard often: ahar, vihar, achar, vichar, satsanga, sadhana, sangha, shastra, sangha, etc., etc., etc. In music, they music has to be adhyatma sadhana. Otherwise, just the music will not be really justifying the legacy that has been there from time immemorial. So, just as in yoga, we require an adhyatmic touch, adhyatmic impact, adhyatmic influence, adhyatmic gravity. Same thing is there for music. But again, I repeat that the, the track of music is relatively less with less hardships than the track of yoga. Yoga requires discipline, as you have all heard. It requires discipline in life and discipline in practice and discipline in sadhana. So just doing yoga, it is done all over the world. But for it to be genuine, authentic yoga, we know we have to have the ethos, we have to have the proper background of it, background of yoga. So similarly is the case of music. All these musicians are becoming artists today. They are not becoming spiritualists, and therefore they are not able to get the advantage of inherent spirituality of music. So, with regards to these our time musicians, they score one very strong virtue by being in music, by being in classical Sangeet, even as performers. They will lift the audience on a higher plane of consciousness than they themselves are.
Mhm.
Because the listeners will be able to get absorbed in the music. But the performer, if it is a performer, he cannot easily get absorbed because he is aware of the audience around him, in front of him. And then he is performer, and therefore he has that the identity strongly interfering his process. Whereas the listeners can forget their identity. The listeners can easily forget their identity because of the music. However, the musician himself in a concert, in a performance, cannot forget his identity easily because
Mhm.
he's center of attraction. All the people are looking at him. All the people are watching him. All the people are around him. They are listening to him. So he is self-conscious. So you in a concert hall, you are not self-conscious. You don't have to be self-conscious while you are in a concert hall as an audience. But the performer cannot be not having being not self-conscious when he's a performer.
Yeah.
And therefore they score a merit. They lift hundreds of people from mundanity much more higher than themselves. They lift themselves. They don't lift themselves as much as they lift the audience, because audience is free, audience is open-minded, audience have no responsibility. You don't require commitment to attend a concert, but you require commitment to be participating in the concert or player of the concert. To be performing. It is no responsibility for a listener to be listener. So he is free from gravities. And therefore, listeners are more free. And therefore, they lift hundreds and hundreds of people from mundanity for that while they themselves cannot lift themselves, because they have to be self-aware. They have the commitment to play a concert, while the audience doesn't have any commitment to listen to the concert. Those are free. Artists are not that free. Artists are tensed. Audience is distanced. They are detensed. They are relaxed. Audience is relaxed. But the player is not relaxed. Violin player is not relaxed. But all the audience is relaxed. So that is the merit he scores, that he gives benefit to so many listeners, the joy, elation, or distension, the bounty and bounty to the mind. But while he himself is not having that bounty, because he's self-conscious, he is concert conscious, and he is commitment conscious. So they sacrifice. Artists sacrifice as a performer. They sacrifice to lift so many people who are around them, who are there to listen to him. So that's a great merit they score. And of course, the music that they perform does play on their systems, whereby they will have some advantage. Like we are all doing yoga, we all gain advantage. We gain material advantage. We get materialistic advantage, for our body and mind system. We say we feel fine by doing our yoga. We feel fine. We feel fine in our mind by doing our yoga, and that's why we are continuing to do yoga. But that is peripheral body, peripheral mind. So that benefit will go to even music performers. The musicians need to know, identify what is sadhana. Like students of yoga need to know what is adhyatma sadhana in their yoga. Without that, they can perform their practice, their yoga, and they will get material benefits. So yoga has that bounty. You can be atheist, you will get benefit. You can be a skeptic person, you will get the benefit. You might be agnostic, you will get the benefit. Because yoga itself has some benefits. Like eating a fruit, the fruit itself has inherent bounty for you who is eating it. So yoga is like a fruit, and since you take bites of the fruit, you are going to get advantage. If you take a bite of apple, cherry, mango, you are going to get the advantage. But that will be material advantage. That will be materialistic advantage. So yoga gives advantage. Similarly, music gives advantage. However, if they identify music as spiritual practice and try to identify what is adhyatma in Sangeet, then it will be a different thing. So all these artists are so occupied, so busy, preoccupied. They are performing artists. and therefore they will not be able to identify the Adhyatma sadhana in their music. If they identify that, the musicians will be like hare and yogis will be like tortoise. The hare will win the race anyway. Tortoise will very little chance that a tortoise will win the race. And therefore, yoga is a slower process. Aneka janma samsiddho, if you recall that sutra. Aneka janma Bhagavad Gita. सतु दीर्घ काल नैरंतर्य सत्कारा सेवितो दृढ़ भूमि सतु दीर्घ काल. Dirgha kala means I mentioned in my book, it is several lives. Musician doesn't have to wait for such a long gestation period. It is indeed quick, sweet cut, provided they identify Adhyatma sadhana. So all these maestros are not aware of Adhyatma sadhana of their music, and therefore it is happening what is happening. They are performers, they are artists. They are not spiritualists. They are artists. No musician says, I'm a spiritual musician. They say, I'm an artist. So they have to they have to cross that threshold. Then music has enormous bounty. So that is what I wanted to say, that I'm not hypercritical about the musician. They have not identified that it is a not artist's endeavor, it is endeavor of a spiritualist who is self-realizer. No musician is looking for self-realization. But the yogis, it might dawn upon them sooner or later that it is a spiritual pursuit. I am in self-discovery. So that class Shastriya, the Sangeet, had that aspect before it became art in our times. That's why I gave the instance of Namdev in in last session, that he was singing glory of God and he went into trance. So they can go into trance easily, while the yogis cannot get into trance easily. This is a cumbersome process. Yoga is a cumbersome process. They have to identify Sangeeta Yoga. They don't do that. There is Nada Yoga. So their yoga is definitely quicker. And therefore, we call it Nada Yoga. Nada is influence of music on our system. Grosser to subtler to infrastructural. So they are not trying to understand that their music is Nada Yoga. How the yoga will come, they are not trying to identify. They just want to perform better. They want to become maestros. They getting testimony from listeners. They want testimony from listeners. They don't want testimony from celestial forces. They don't want testimony from gods and testimony from God. They want the testimony from people. People should applaud. People should give standing ovation. In yoga, we don't look for standing ovation. We get inwards. So they have a channel to go inwards, which music doesn't help them identify. Sangeet actually has inherently that aspect. So they should look into classical Sangeet. Like I've been telling you, we have to look into classical yoga. Our time yoga, it will be uh, not even on the horizon. Yoga won't be on the horizon. With the yoga that we have to pursue in our times. It is feel fine factor. It is to become healthy physically, mentally, become healthy physically, psychologically, mentally, emotionally. Now, that is not going to give you spiritual revelation. Just being physically fit, mentally fit, emotionally fit, psychologically fit, yoga is not going to happen. We need to cross that threshold of mundanity, materiality. So They have easy way to cross over, which they are not crossing over because they are performers. They have opted to be artists. If they thought music is also yoga, and let me identify what is yoga in music, then they will win the race against us. We won't win the race. They will win the race. So they have not identified that great fortune that they have by pursuing Sangeet. Sangeet is inherently yoga. Now, today, as our yoga has got contaminated, now it has become yoga, and therefore it is for whole world, for everyone. Yoga for one and all, one and all, one and all. Spirituality is not for one and all. It is one amongst all. It is for one amongst all. Essential yoga, classical yoga, genuine yoga, authentic yoga is one amongst many, for one amongst many, and not for many. But today we have a form of yoga because yoga is popularized. We say yoga for one and all. So we will give the fruits of yoga. Yoga will give fruits without reservations. Whether you do sincerely or don't do sincerely, whether you are atheist or theist, whether you are believer or not believer, whether you are agnostic or not agnostic, whether you are agnostic or you are having faith, whether you are skeptic or having a faith, yoga will certainly serve everyone. It has bounty to for everyone. But quintessential yoga is not for one and all. That's why I've said in my talks and even my book somewhere, yoga is not for one and all, but there is something of yoga for all. There is something of yoga for all, one and all. But the whole yoga is not meant for one and all. Similarly, the musicians have to identify that their music, their sangeet is yoga. If that is yoga, what are the shortcomings? That's why I give the illustration of the great maestro, icon of Sangeet today is Tansen. Tansen has been iconic for last 500 years, 400 years and 500 years. He has been still the icon. There is no second Tansen so far. So he has been, idealized. Why his guru has been sidelined? Nobody tries to have any eulogy for his guru. Tansen is eulogized, he's praised, he's lots of acclaims he gets, lots of recognition, lots of respect and regard and reverence Tansen gets. All the musicians, he is a god. For today, Indian musicians, he is a god. They are looking at him and he is their aim. But so far, nobody has reached Tansen in last 400-500 years. But yoga was not in him. Yoga was in his guru. Now, his guru is unknown. If 10,000 people know Tansen, not even one knows Haridas, his guru. If 10,000 people know Tansen, not even one amongst 10,000 will know his guru. He was in genuine, authentic, classical Nada Yoga. He was a yogi. That's why he united with the God, with his music. Here, artists want to be uniting with the audience and give them some worldly benefit, mundane benefit, feel fine factor for them. Like today, we do yoga for people to feel fine. Similarly, musicians are playing their music for people to feel fine. So, that is the case. Now, I come to today's topic. Bharata Muni penned down a treatise called Natya Shastra, and music is part of Natya Shastra. Shastra means science. So he expounded Natya Shastra, and music has about, Sangeet has about 7-8 chapters. So our concept of Natya is different than the concept dramatology. Natya literally means drama, but technically Natya Shastra is spiritual science. And Sangeeta Shastra is the part of the treatise. There are about 35 chapters of Natya Shastra, out of which our 9 chapters are on Sangeeta Shastra. So this is just an information. There is no separate treatise called Sangeeta Shastra for Bharata Muni. It is called Natya Shastra. We have different concept of Natya. Like as I said, music is not Sangeet. Now at this point I say Natya is not drama. Drama has a limited scope, but Natya has a different background. Now let's try to understand why the Natya Shastra is part of wisdom of the Lord. Why did you require a Muni? Why did you require sage, sagacious person like Bharata Muni? Now I will be putting across some fascinating, mind-boggling fact about reality of the world and life. Natya Shastra, Natya means playing a role. In drama, roles have to be played. Nobody playing any role, can there be any drama? Character role, you say character roles are there. So what is drama? Enactment. Enactment, without enactment, there is no drama. Without enactment, there is no natya. And the fact of the life is that we are all in enactment. We think the life condition is real condition. But from metaphysical perspective, we are enacting roles. And the divinity, which is omnipresent, omniscient, he's everywhere, and he's omniscient. But why do we have diversity in the universe? The universe itself should be omniscient and omnipotent. But divinity is omniscient and omnipotent, and the creation which ensues from him has diversity with unity. So, in Semitic religion, they don't believe the God as a persona. But in our thought system and our philosophy and religion, he takes all the forms. So we have Dashavatars, 10 incarnations of divinity: Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Narsimha, Parshuram, Ram, Krishna, Kalki. So these are his manifestations. He enacts the roles. He enacted as Matsya Avatar, Matsya Avatar. So he enacted the role of that celestial fish. Then Kurma, he enacted the role of tortoise, whereby the Samudra Manthan took place, and then the churning of the ocean took place, and then the glories came out of the ocean. So he enacted role. His role as in human form, such as semi-human form, quasi-human form, was Narsimha, half human, half lion. Then came Vaman Avatar, full human, a dwarf human being, a short human being. And then came Parshuram, again human form, Rama, human form, Krishna, human form. So he enacted the role of Sri Rama during Rama Avatar. He enacted the role of Krishna during Krishna Avatar. He enacted the role of Vamana in Vamana Avatar. He enacted the role of Narsimha in Narsimha Avatar. So is the case of Matsya Avatar. So is the case of Varaha Avatar. He enacted the role. And that was the Natya. Enactment is a Natya. If you enact, you won't enact as Susan. You can enact as Prashant, or you can enact as someone who is not Susan. As Susan, you don't have enactment. So you'll have to you'll have to be someone else to enact a role. So for divinity, he is in drama. He is enacting the roles. When he says in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, amongst the mountains, I am Himalayas. Amongst all the stars, I am the sun. Amongst the Rudras, I am the Shankara. Amongst the warriors, I am Rama. So all those exalted forms are his forms, and they are sparks. They are sparkles of his form. So he enacts the role of being a mountain. Amongst all water bodies, he says, I am the ocean. So he enacts the role as the ocean. Amongst the aquatics, he says, I am the crocodile. So he enacts the role. So all his manifestations are his enactments. So if Susan has to be enacting, she has to be enacting something who is not Susan, somebody who is not Susan. You can't say, I am enacting the role as a Susan. You are yourself Susan. So you have to enact a role of some other character. So, with reference to divinity, he plays several roles. He enacts. And therefore, the Natya Shastra came to describe his deeds, to describe the deeds of divinity, because he is not that, what he enacts to be. So, suppose you enact a role of me, it implies that you are not me, but you are enacting role of Prashant. So you have to enact role which you are not. You can't enact a role of you yourself. That is not called enactment. So divinity enacts the roles in all manifestations. Dashavatars, then there are 24 avatars in Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are countless. God manifests in several forms. So we sometimes say in life, oh, this person came to my rescue. He was almost a god. Nobody could have rescued me, but this person rescued me. The God came in this form. God can come in any form. So when the God does, he enacts a role. Because as God, he has nothing to do. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, he says, I have nothing to do. Then if you have nothing to do, why are you doing whatever you are doing? That is how his manifestation is, that he does so many things. He does everything that is happening in the universe. So those are all his enactments. And they were fascinating for the deistic people, the devotees. It was a fascination. How much is he doing? He moves everything from blade of grass, from a blade of grass on the earth. He moves the stars and planets and galaxies. So that's how our religious books describe that Brahmastambha Paryantam. He turns out the creator deity called Brahma. You know Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. These are trinities. The Brahma, the four-faced Brahma, is the creator deity. So he creates the creator deity, he moves the creator deity like a puppet, and at the same time, he moves the blade of grass with the wind. So that's a very trivial thing, the, the swaying of a blade of grass. So he does all the movements in the universal phenomenalism, and that's why he enacts. Now that is about divinity. So that's why the deistic people called devotees, bhaktas, they were fascinated by what he does. They say you are enormous actor. No one can play like role like you. That is why we have concept of Nataraj, Shankara, Shiva, also form of Nataraj. Nataraj is always shown in a not dancing pose. Incidentally, let me tell you about Patanjali. Patanjali was also, he was Adi Shesha Avatar. He was the incarnation of the celestial divine cobra. Okay, on whom Vishnu is reposing, Adi Shesha. So he's on the bed of cobra and he reclines on the cobra. On one occasion, he said, Lord, why are you becoming so heavy? I cannot bear your weight. Because he was the bed. Why is it that you are becoming so heavy? He said, because I am seeing Tandava Nritya of Shiva. I am seeing Shiva dancing. And therefore, it is my elation. And with that elation, what you are experiencing, that I have becoming heavier and heavier and heavier for you. So he said, oh, you could be amused. You could be entertained by dance of Shiva. I want to learn dance so that I can be of service to you. So in the life of Patanjali, there comes a mention that he also learned dance to amuse his Lord, because he saw that my Lord is amused by Shiva's dance. Why not I learn the dance and amuse him? Because I'm in subserviency. So that comes in Patanjali's life. Anyway, so this is drama. He is not doing anything, but everything is seemingly done by him in the universe. He's doing nothing. Metaphysical, as a metaphysical principle, he doesn't do anything. But everything seems to be done by him. And this was fascinating for his devotees, and they wanted to praise him for what he does and what he has been doing and what he has done and what he can be doing. So it was so fascinating. So that's why they said we can only depict and we can only present what you do through Natya, by, to put it in our time word, drama. We have to present you in the drama and make people understand, realize, experience what you are. Otherwise, you are nominal, metaphysically. Nominal, nobody can see you. And that's why the Semitic religions, they believe it's formless, etc., etc., etc. He is indeed formless. He is indeed formless because he is metaphysical entity, but he manifests in all the forms. That is his drama. And that is why the rise of Natya Shastra came in. Secondly, coming on our own plane, metaphysically, we are not man, woman, young, old, etc., etc. Atma, self, doesn't have any delimitation. It doesn't have class, caste, creed, gender, status, age. He is non-doer. Atma per se, he is non-doer. But then what is the life situation? So you are father. If you are man, you are a father, you are a son, you are a brother, you are a husband, you are a friend. If you are as a woman, you are a mother, you are a daughter, you are a wife, you are a sister-in-law, you are auntie. Now, one person, you are daughter of someone, you are auntie of someone, you can be auntie of someone. So one person plays several roles. We are all playing role. Metaphysically, we are not of that at all. There is nothing like male self and female self. Self doesn't have gender. It is beyond that. It is transcending gender. But then why is that some of us are men and some of us are women? So being men, we play different roles than women playing roles. Women play different roles than men play the roles. So we are all playing roles. So our life is a drama. We
Could
mortals, our life is a drama. We have a script called destiny.
Mhm.
Destiny is our script.
Mm. Could it be
But the
said
script, yes, yes.
could it be
Go ahead,
said
go ahead.
that the life is like a simulation for the soul to carry out?
Yeah, for
Mhm.
the soul, not for self, not for Atma.
Mm.
So Atma doesn't do anything. Atma doesn't have likes, dislikes, loves and loathes, favorite, unfavorite, but we all of us have it.
Mhm.
So we are enacting role. Essentially, we don't have all that, but we are enacting the role in such a way like an actor when he plays a role, you cannot really distinguish him from his persona. He is so much submerged in the role. Suppose I am a uh, actor in a drama. I don't remain Prashant while I enact some role. I submerge myself into the role so much that people will not know who is this. They will only characterize me by my character role. If I play the role of Napoleon, they will look at me as Napoleon. I am only enacting the role of Napoleon. So in our real life also, we are enacting a role and we are given a script, which is called destiny. During the lifetime, all those things are going to happen in time, place, situation, condition, etc. Now that script is given to us in what we call as Lalata Patala. Our script is here, we can't read it. We don't read, but we enact the role. So we are in a drama, we have a script, but we are not given the script to be read before we enact the role. So this is a spontaneous drama. Life is a spontaneous drama. Avatar of a divinity is spontaneous drama. While in his case, he knows the script. He himself has written the script. He knows the script. He knows the enactments and he does. We do not know what we are going to enact, but we enact. So this is what you call as mortal plane of enactment of a role, and that is immortal plane of enacting a role. That's what divinity does. He knows the script. He knows what is next moment. I do not know what is next moment. I do not know who is going to knock my door. But he being omniscient, he knows who is going to knock the door. So he can prevent from anybody knocking the door if he doesn't want the door to be knocked. I can't prevent. The point is our life is drama. That is the adhyatma. We are only enacting the role. We are not the role. I am a man enacting the role of a man. I am not a man. You are enacting the role of a woman. You are not a woman. You are a self. I am a self. The self is enacting the role with an entire choreography of our systems. body, mind, breath, speech, psyche, consciousness. This is the choreography. Like they prepare setting on a stage for a drama. They have to create setting. It has to be choreographed. There are directors. There are backstage workers for a drama to be materializing. There is an author, there is a writer, there is a director, there is a technician. There are screenplay writers. At the same time, there are backstage staff who are there to attend to whatever they have to do during the 2 or 3 hours of drama. They are doing something at backstage. So it is similarly our life. In your enactment, I am also in a part of it. In my enactment, you are a part of it. Now, there are so many things which are part of it. So many people are part of it. But we don't identify, we do not know. So life is a drama. To be a father is a drama because nobody is essentially father, nobody is essentially mother, nobody is essentially son, nobody is essentially daughter. Like in state of sleep, if you read the Vritti, Nidra Vritti, I said in sleep, Americans are not Americans, Indians are not Indians, men are not men, women are not women. Then who is there? You still exist. When you are fast asleep, you still exist, but you are not American, you are not woman, you are not Susan. You have no name and form, yet you exist. You don't have name and form and relativities that somebody is father, somebody is daughter, somebody is sister, somebody is brother, but still you exist. So you are nobody's nobody in sleep. And that tells us that we, in the awakeful state, we are only enacting roles. While in sleep, father is non-father, mother is non-mother, son is non-son, daughter is non-daughter, husband is non-husband, wife is non-wife, sister is non-sister, brother is non-brother, the friend is non-friend. There's a beautiful passage which comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which I've quoted in my book in Nidra Vritti. Atra pita apita bhavati, mata amata bhavati. The rich is non-rich, the poor is non-poor, the wealthy is non-wealthy, and the non-wealthy is not non-wealthy. They're all equated, levelized. Love is a levelizer. You will go to sleep, I will go to sleep, the emperor will go to sleep. But when I go to sleep, I am not myself. When you go to sleep, you are not yourself. Emperor is not emperor when he goes to sleep. Beggar goes to sleep. He equates the emperor with the beggar. The rich with the poor equated in the state of sleep. Because Atma doesn't have any attribute. Atma doesn't have any attribute. The self doesn't have any attribute. And then how the life is? Life is all enactment. Life is all drama. Well choreographed. And we are all excellent actors. If you are not excellent actor, that means it is a case like mother is not a good mother. A father is not a good father. A son is not a good son. So similarly, if that is the case, then we don't enact well. But suppose the son is a good son, father is a good father, mother is a good mother, sister is good sister, wife is a good wife, husband is a good husband, they enact the role beautifully like a top class actor enacting a role. There is no flaw. Amateur artist, there'll be lots of flaws. But a professional artist has no flaws at all. So we are all professional actors in our life if we enact the roles properly. So life is a drama. So that's the reality of life. And therefore, Natya Shastra came to project the reality of life. Hey, man, it's not all true. It's all enactment. It's all drama. Your life is a drama. So our life is a drama, and the divinity's manifestation is also drama. But the caliber of our drama and his drama is different. Like the drama by all amateurs and drama by all professionals. There is a big difference. Is that right? So he's someone like professional. Divinity is like someone professional, and we are like amateurs. Anyway, the principle of life doesn't have it has no hunger, no thirst, nothing to do, nothing to get, nothing to give. But because of it, everything happens. So in our manifestation, we are enacting the roles. I'm a giver, I'm a taker, I'm a receiver, I'm a dispenser. I give happiness, I give sorrow, I get happiness. I'm the giver of all that, I'm taker of all that. While the Atma per se, quintessentially, is beyond all this. It's a transcendent principle, metaphysical principle. So the life is drama. Manifestation of divinity is also drama. Now that was fascinating to devotees. His drama was fascinating. Because our drama, we are all amateurs, it is not fascinating. And therefore, the Natya Shastra came to describe the role of divinity in the universe, the acts of divinity in the universe, the purpose of divinity in the universe, the non doer doing something. If Prashant does something as Prashant, it's not a marvel. But non Prashant does something as Prashant, it's a marvel. Do you get it? If Prashant does something as Prashant, it's not a marvel. But non Prashant does something as a Prashant, or anti Prashant does something like Prashant, it's a marvel. Unprashant does something like Prashant, it's a marvel. Prashant does like Prashant, it's not a marvel. So we are all doing what we are not. And therefore it's a marvel. So they understood the marvel of existence of life, marvel of all the existence of mortals, and the manifestation of the divinity. And that's why the Natya Shastra has this adhyatmic base.
Mm.
Natya is a reality. Drama is not reality. That's why you say somebody is playing a drama. That means he is doing something which is not true. So it's all fancy. But Natya is not fancy. Natya Shastra is projecting the reality, a dimension of reality. While in drama, I enact a role of an emperor, I am not an emperor, I enact a role. I am not a brute, I enact the role of a brute. I am not a saint, I enact the role of a saint. I am not a noble person, I enact the role of a noble person. I am not ignoble person, but I play the role of a villain.
When you say
While
dimension of reality,
uh,
I
so
want to
it's
look.
a life is a reality. We can't say life is unreal, absolutely. So
Right.
reality is classified as relative reality and absolute reality. Both are realities. I am Prashant is a reality, but it's not absolute reality. It's a relative reality. I am Prashant for this life.
Yeah.
I am Prashant Sundarraj Iyengar for this life. I am not going to be eternally Prashant Sundarraj Iyengar. So this is the reality, ephemeral, temporary, but it's a reality. I can't say this is unreal. I can't say you being Susan is unreal, but it's not absolute real. So we have these realities, which again I have described in our Satya principle of the Yamas: relative truth, absolute truth, ephemeral truth, permanent truth, quintessential truth, appearanceable truth.
Mhm.
It is so interesting. Let me make a final statement today. See, to be speaking untruth, even if I want to speak untruth, I have to put on the mask of truth. Otherwise, the world will not believe. Untruth is untruth only when it is taken as truth. So it has to put on a mask of truth. Otherwise, untruth is not truth at all. So I pull on a mask of truth on my face, and then I say something which is untrue, and you believe it. Then only it is untruth. If you don't believe in what I say, then it's not untruth, because you say anyway it's a false statement. I want you to believe in a false statement of mine, which is only possible for me to pull on a garb of truth. The untruth has to take recourse support of truth for it to be untruth. Otherwise, untruth doesn't stand at all. It is as good as non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
So this all comes in our satsanga. We are told all this in our satsanga. They explain what is truth, what is seeming truth, what is imposed truth. Sometimes it's an imposition, the truth is imposed.
Mm-hmm.
And the untruth has always to take support of truth, otherwise untruth doesn't stand at all. It is like a mansion of sand which will collapse the moment you raise it, or a pack of cards. It will not stand, it won't stand, little breeze, it will fall. But then I want to believe in what I say, untruth I speak. I want you to believe it for some time, or maybe permanently in your life. So the untruth has to come as a virtual truth. Then only untruth is untruth. Otherwise, untruth doesn't have any what you call stand at all. It doesn't stand at all. Now, if I speak the untruth, I am not Prashant, I am a monkey. You are not going to believe. So it's not going to be untruth on my part, because you are not going to believe anyway.
Mm.
So I will have to make you believe I am not a human being, I am a monkey, I am an ape, I am a fish. So that it has to take recourse to truth. Anyway, the whole creation is drama. Living creation is drama. Life is drama. The acts of divinity are all drama. And that drama was very appealing to deistic devotees. Those who loved devotee, they are called deistic people, and they found it very fascinating, and therefore they wanted to. Natya Shastra was formulated. How the drama should be played for people to believe that it is a truth almost, or at least virtual truth. We know that all that is enacted on the stage, nothing is true, but then we believe, and therefore we enjoy. It's an entertainment. If you say right from word go here, it's all false. It is not enactment. It is an actor. I know this actor. He's so and so, and he's not Napoleon. Then you will not have the joy of attending a drama. You have to for a while forget that who is that person. You have to believe that he is what he is in character role. If you are not influenced by character role, the drama is a failure.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, life is.
Wasn't it Shakespeare said all of life is a stage and we are all the actor, or we are all the players, something like that?
Yeah, true. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So we are enacting a role. I am Indian, I am Iyengar, which is a role. I am not essentially that. You are not essentially an American. You are playing a role of American. You are playing a role of Susan Johnson. You are not being, you are eternally not Susan Johnson. And the life principle doesn't have any characters and characteristics and attributes. But all that is there. So it's a drama. Life is a drama.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Natya Shastra got kind of encouragement. And therefore, to postulate the realities of life and the realities, metaphysical realities, the drama had to be there. Otherwise, people would not have believed in it. I have to play a role of the character role of a saint. Then people will understand what the saint is. Now, I am not essentially a saint. I enact a role of a saint. So people will come to know what the saint does, how the saint is, why for the saint. So I have to play such a role that people will believe that, yes, this is a saint, and the saint is like this, and saint is like that. Saint is not like this and not like that.
Mhm.
So this is important for spiritual purpose, the knowledge and wisdom. So that's why Natya Shastra came to project the truth of life, truth of Atma, truth of Paramatma, truth of Bhagwan, truth of Jiva. So that's the spiritual background of Natya Shastra. And Sangeet Shastra is part of Natya Shastra. Incidentally, let me tell you about Narasimha Avatar and Prahlada. Prahlad was his devotee, and Narasimha was the deity. Now he was in lion form, and Prahlada was a tiny tot. So the sages asked him, "How come you are not dreaded by the figure?" And his father, who was a demon, who was killed by Narasimha. So for his father, his figure was a terror. At the same time, for his son, he was divinity with all bounty and endowments. Compassion. He was compassion personate. While for his father, he was terror personified. So he showed two faces at the same time. One face to his devotee Prahlad, another face to his alien demon. So no actor can play simultaneously two faces. So also we have concept of Ardhanari Nateshwar, half man, half woman.
Mm.
Have you heard about it?
No.
Shiva in the form, half Shiva, half Shakti. So half side of his was male and half side of his was female. And that's why he's called Ardha Nari Nateshwar. So he enacted the role that half of his body was male, half of his body was female. Now that's their enactment. Now, can you simultaneously play a role that half of you is Prashant and half of you is Susan? One side of the face is Prashant, another side, half of the face is not Prashant. No, not possible. But two emotions which dreaded Hiranyakashipu and which was showering compassion for Prahlad, simultaneously he showed two expressions. We can't show two expressions. No actor can show two expressions simultaneously.
Right.
I can't say half angry face and half smiling face. Can any actor do that? He did it. That's why he is also described in his Namas as one of the greatest actor. He can enact simultaneously. Half of his manifestation is one emotion, and half of it is diagonally opposite emotion. I cannot show half face, half smiling, half face angry. He did it. And therefore, that is why he is called Nataraja, or the king amongst all actors. And that's why he's worshipped as the deity for all dramas. They worship Nataraj before they present the show because he was the greatest actor. Rama was greatest actor. He was immortal. He was the ultimate universal self, but he enacted the role of human being. flawlessly. Nowhere where anyone could have doubt that he is not human, but he is superhuman. He enacted the role of human being during Srimad Ramayanam. They were great actors. Krishna was a great actor. Rama was a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the Natya Shastra got roots. And Sangeet Shastra was kind of allied for drama. It was required. And therefore, Sangeet Shastra is part of Natya Shastra. I think that should be enough for the day.
It's a lot for today. It's a lot. I'll have to go back and listen several times. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really fascinating.
Namaskar.
Thank you for listening to this episode of On the Light. I hope it offered you something to sit with, as it did for me. Today, I leave you with these words from B.K.S. Iyengar from Light on Life. As animals, we walk the earth. As bearers of divine essence, we are among the stars. As human beings, we are caught in the middle, seeking to reconcile the paradox of how to make our way upon earth while striving for something more permanent and more profound. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, or subscribe. And if you're able, a small monthly contribution helps sustain the continued production of this podcast. Thank you for listening. Namaskar.